Hi, everybody. Welcome into the broadcast. It's Sunday evening. You know what that means. It's Region Weather Live time. We've got a lot to talk about here on the broadcast tonight. We're going to do a couple runs at long term. All right. We're going to get through much of the month of September in terms of where we're going, kind of where we are, where we're going. We're going to take a look at the tropics. This is typically this week, next week, and the week after are typically the busiest weeks in the tropical season, especially in the Atlantic. And there's nothing stirring right now. But does that change? We'll chat about it. And then also we've got maybe, I don't want to say frost tonight because we're not going to have any frost, but we've got a really chilly night. We may have some record lows tonight across portions of Northwest Indiana. How about that? Ooh, it just feels like we jumped right into it. And we did, trust me. All right, let's say hi to our early birds. We've got Mark on board. Mark, hello. Thanks for joining us. Rhonda, thanks for being with us tonight. Tom says, and Tom, I was talking to my wife about the same thing. Days like today is why September is my favorite weather month. September and October. October gets a little dicey, right? We tend to get some ups and downs. Some of the downs and the wind really can pack a punch because we're talking some snowflakes by the end of the month. But yeah, September is just glorious, and it's just so nice outside. Gail's with us. Good evening, Gail. Lynn's with us. Hello. Thanks, Mark. We updated a lot. We updated our little weather center here in the basement. I'm like just crammed in this corner. But anyway, updated all this here. I've been working the last couple hours on not just the set, but graphics and stuff like that. It's always nice to do that. Natalie says it's been beautiful. It certainly has, Natalie. It has been great. Maxwell's ready for some heat. Oh, he's alluding to our forecast here as we dive in. All right, let's get through our sponsors real quick. We'll let a couple other people join. And guys, every couple weeks, someone reaches out and says, how can we support you? And I appreciate that, especially during severe weather season, winter weather season, right? When it gets super active around here. Just support our sponsors. That's all we need. All right. They're all awesome. They're all local family owned businesses, which is great. If you guys need a new furnace, I hate to say this because we're jumping from AC to furnace, right? If you need an AC tune-up, there's that. All right. Earl's will do it. But if you need a furnace, a new one, maybe yours is on the fritz, it's not heating properly, or maybe you just need a tune-up getting into the late fall season, right? As we start to drop those temperatures later this fall. Let Earl's be your heating and air conditioning resource. They're amazing. They're the most trusted heating source and company in Cherville since 1976. A lot of companies do not last that long. They are just doing great because they do amazing work. It's earlsheating.com. Publicserviceadjusting.com, the place to go if you need a public service adjuster. What is that? These are all local licensed insured adjusters right here in Northwest Indiana. And what they'll do, if you have an insurance claim, what they'll do is they'll come out, they'll take pictures of it, analyze it, document it, and they'll send that to your insurance company. You don't need to contact your insurance company first. You go to publicserviceadjusting.com first. And they'll handle all the talk back and forth with your insurance company. They get you top dollar back. They're stubborn. They're awesome. 5-star reviews across the board, publicserviceadjusting.com. Romansroofing.net, the place to go if you guys are in need of a new roof. Maybe you need something patched, or maybe you just need a new roof in general. Maybe your roof is new and you're fine, but you want to make sure your house is nice and tight for that winter season. They do windows and siding and gutters. They do it all. And they do great work. You should check them out on their Facebook page. They have some great posts. Romansroofing.net, the place to go, 219-838-9111. All inspections and estimates are free. Halcyon Water Solutions, boy, I'll tell you, there's nothing more important than your water, right? You're drinking water all the time, okay? You want to make sure that there's nothing in it, all right? You don't want to be drinking algae, okay? You're probably not doing that. That's the good news. But anyway, let Halcyon be your water solution source for all of your needs in terms of whether it be water softeners, whether it be delivery, maintenance of your water system. They'll do all that as well. And I'll tell you, they do amazing work. I'm trying to find their website here. Hold on. Here we go. All right. They provide the highest quality water treatment with exceptional service across Northwest Indiana. It's 866-97-WATER to schedule your free in-home water analysis today. They do softening, filtration, salt delivery, maintenance, basically anything water related, and they do amazing work. Halcyon Water Solutions right here in Northwest Indiana. Minogue.life, Michael Minogue knows the world of Medicare, Medicaid, life insurance better than anyone else, and he does amazing work. He has a little PSA for us. He says himself included, a lot of us are getting calls for Medicare, and they're fake calls, they're spam calls. Just saying, hey, we've got new benefits. We've got a new plan coming out. You need to sign up for this. right? Some of you probably get robocalls daily from that. I know he does. He said he does. And his advice for that is just to hang up or don't even answer it to begin with, all right? If you have questions about your plan, if you're getting enough out of it, maybe you don't understand something, he has free consultations. You just go in, sit with him. He's such a nice guy, and he'll go through everything and make sure that you're getting everything out of your plan, or maybe there's more you can get out of your plan benefit-wise. Life insurance, maybe you're paying too much for it, and maybe you can save that money, put it elsewhere. He'd be happy to help sit down with you and figure that out. Minogue.life, place to go there. If you guys need a real estate agent, let Kate Cusack be the one for you. She's awesome for Ruoff Mortgage. She does amazing work, and she's just fun to work with. Everyone that has worked with her for Region Weather has said that it was the best experience ever. I'm serious. You should check it out. She says that now that pumpkin spice season's here, she has just extra motivation to get out and get you your dream home because she loves pumpkin spice lattes, so that might help. But if you're looking for a dream home, starter home, maybe you're looking to refinance, take care of some of these lower rates. Maybe you got locked into a higher rate. They can do that too. Kate does everything there. So again, Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl on Facebook or 219-775-6645. TigerPlumbing.net's place to go for your plumbers. You know they're amazing. You can do everything on mobile, take a video of the problem as the water's hitting you in the face. And they'll come out for free, which is crazy. TigerPlumbing.net. FBIBuildings.com, the place to go if you need a new pole barn constructed. They do commercial, residential. They've done over 20,000 of them in the Midwest. They're amazing. FBIBuildings.com. TNT Tree Service, if you need a tree taken down, it's looking like the Halloween tree. Maybe you leave it up for Halloween, but then take it down after that. We'll have some windstorms coming our way before we know it. Let TNT Tree Service take care of you. It's tttreeservice.com, or you can call them at 219-300-6256. Great Lakes Lighting, let your home be the envy of the neighborhood with expertly placed outdoor lighting. They do not just landscape lighting, but they also do security lighting as well. Maybe you have a dark spot on your way in from the garage. Take care of that. They'll do it for you. They'll get it all on timers and all hooked up. They're just amazing. They have great examples of their work, great portfolio on their Facebook page as well. Great Lakes Lighting. The website is lightupnwi.com. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades. They give so much back to the community as well. If you're looking for a new vehicle, let it be Grieger's, right on US 30 there in Valpo. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. All right, we've got a couple more people that have joined. We can dive into some material now. Good evening, Jeff joined us. Hi, Jeff. Jill's with us on our YouTube channel. Ruth's looking for a nice, warm Saturday. Got a youth group canoe trip planned. That sounds awesome, Ruth. We'll talk about it in here in the forecast. Brenda's with us. Good evening, Brenda. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Rich is with us. Amanda loves this weather. I do too, Amanda. It's great. And good evening to you, Vicki. All right, here's the current pattern across the country right now. And you notice two different things. You notice there's a big ridge out west and there's a big trough out east. We've been dealing with this kind of pattern over the last 3 weeks, really. You notice how everything kind of goes up. There's lots of monsoon moisture. That's good. Some of it's mixed with some tropical moisture and some Pacific moisture. But either way, they're getting much needed rain where they have a terrible drought out west. It has been a non-existent monsoon season. That's the season where they get their precip. And then for us, these are all fair weather cumulus that develop. So you have cold air aloft, which we have. It's very cold up in the atmosphere. You get some heating of our surface, and you get, that heat rises and it condenses and forms those fair weather cumulus clouds. No rain issues out of this, exception being a little bit of lake effect rain out east, but most of that has come to an end. Overall, this is a very fair weather pattern here, but a sign when you see all these little clouds bubble up in the heating of the day on satellite, it's a sign that you have some cooler air in place. How cool are we going to get? Here are some of the forecasted lows tonight. Tonight is going to be the bottom of the barrel in terms of this temperature regime over the last 3 weeks, all right? We are going to start to moderate from here. Temps tonight, though, look at the bringing some of our inland location. Remember, the lake keeps us warmer near the lake shore, but you get a good 3 or 4 miles inland, and that lake's not doing anything with a very light wind or no wind tonight. But temperatures, if you can't see those numbers, I'll read them to you. We got 42, 42, 43, 45 showing up on the all right? And I believe it. And one of the reasons why is we've got relatively dry soil, all right? Everything's kind of been allowed to dry out. And so as a result, when you don't have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, you can heat up quickly and you can cool down quickly. So I believe some of these numbers tonight is going to be cool. I've had a couple people ask me over the last 2 days, is it going to frost this weekend? We're not worried about frost tonight. There are frost advisories up into areas of Michigan and Wisconsin and the North Woods up towards northern Minnesota. Also, some frost advisories out in areas of Pennsylvania. This is early for everyone in the Midwest to be experiencing temperatures this cool, but this pattern will start to break. It's going to be a little too warm for frost tonight by only a couple degrees. We're talking 5 degrees or so, but I'm not worried about it tonight. If you do have, and this is something I'm doing, if you do have citrus fruit trees or plants like some of the tropicals outside, they may not be too happy with this, so you might want to bring them in closer to the house. Not saying anything's going to happen to them. They just don't like the cold like this, especially when we get in the lower 40s, right? Upper 40s they can handle, 50s they love, but not the lower 40s. So if you do have some tropicals outside that you want to keep, they're probably not going to die. They're just not going to be very happy with you tomorrow, all right, internally. But, you know, what really zaps these things is when you get that frost and you get ice crystals forming and that water turns to ice inside the plant leaves. They don't like that at all, obviously. All right, the tropics. You see this big pattern here. Here's the big dip in the jet stream eastern U.S. So we continue to unlock this Canadian air. Not for much longer, but the tropics typically right now on September 7th, we would have 2 or 3 hurricanes or 2 or 3 tropical storms, even more sometimes, out in the Atlantic. And right now, we don't have anything brewing. All right, this has been an extremely quiet tropical season. And I laugh. I don't forecast the tropics, all right? But what I do watch is media hype and social media hype over back in the spring, back in early summer. So many people were talking about, oh, this tropical season is going to be so bad. Water temperatures are way up. It's going to be just bonkers. You know, tune here, click here, do this. Terrible hurricane season. Everyone's going to have troubles along the East Coast. We're not done yet, all right? But it's been quiet. It's been really quiet. And again, I don't do tropical forecasting, so I can kind of sit back and watch that. I'll obviously share the information if there's a hurricane out there, stuff like that. My specialty is local to here in Northwest Indiana with winter storms and severe weather, stuff like that. I'm not huge on tropics. But as I sit back and watch, there's not much going on, all right? We have had chunks of Saharan dust coming through. There's been quite a bit of shear out there as well. This system needs watched here, but National Hurricane Center has it fallen apart. Here's African coast over here. Is where storms form. And if you want a buzzword, the intertropical convergence zone is right in here. That's one of the biggest weather words there is. That's basically where the wind of the north and southern hemisphere come together and create those swirls, right, that form these storms. You tend to get just storms all along here, or tropical waves, as they call them, which aren't actual waves. Anyway, all that being said, a lot of activity in the Gulf, but this is typical Florida getting some much needed rain, but no big systems out there. And again, nothing expected over the next 7 days, which takes us through our peak of hurricane season. I've seen quiet Junes, I've seen quiet Julys, I've seen quiet Augusts. I have not seen all those months together, including a quiet September. All right, it can still get loud out there, and it just takes one storm. But as of right now, not much doing out there. All right. There is a hurricane out in the Pacific right now. This one, if for all interests of those that maybe are in Hawaii or taking a trip to Hawaii, this is going to kick up some large waves on all the islands as it weakens into a tropical storm and then becomes extra tropical. Storm systems, tropical storms and hurricanes out in the Pacific, there's cold water once you get out towards Hawaii, and they just fall apart. All right, and that's expected to happen with Kiko, Hurricane Kiko out there. All right, let's get back to local again, because that's what we care about, right? Here's our drought across the Midwest. I mentioned I had a post earlier, I think it was on Friday, that we're much better here in Northwest Indiana because of all the heavy rain we had. What was it, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? Kind of saved us and got us out of the drought. So you notice we're sitting pretty compared to the rest of the Midwest, but that drought has gotten worse across all of Indiana, Missouri, Illinois, Ohio, and then down towards Kentucky. This drought's getting pretty bad, and some of it's going to end up being long-term if we don't fix it. And it's been just super dry, not just here. Let me show you. The national shot here. Look out west. I mean, the western U.S., we were almost drought-free about a year and a half ago, and then things just got really bad. This is a product of no monsoon season. They've just got really bad drought there. And then again, this is growing drought here in our region as well. All right, so let's take you through rainfall. Do we have rain coming our way? This week looks dry. It really does. There's not much doing this week. This is Tuesday. Wednesday, there's a little system that might come through here with a little bit of rain, but nothing major. Look at Florida. Florida has bad drought down by Fort Lauderdale, and they're going to fix it hopefully this week. They've got some good rain down towards Florida, but we have nothing. This is Friday. This is through Saturday. And what we're looking at rainfall accumulation, so how much adds up. And you notice where it's dry, where that drought continues to worsen. Not a good week for this drought. However, there are signs that next week, here's Sunday into Monday, notice how we start to turn a little bit more active across the northern tier of the country and the Great Lakes. This isn't a lot of rain coming our way, but at least there are some chances once we get into next week as we return to more of an active pattern around here. In the western U.S., this is great news up in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, even out in Oregon. This is great news. They've got a lot of wildfires out here. In fact, we had some of that wildfire smoke off of fires that were burning in Washington and Oregon earlier this week. And this is good news for them. You like to see the rain out there. It's crazy how dry it's been out west. All right, so let's take you through it specifically. Our next front arrives Monday, Tuesday looks good. We're starting to moderate our temperatures after cool starts both days. There's a weak system that glides in here Wednesday. This whole thing kind of washes out as it runs into this high pressure. And so we do have some shower chances around. I'm not looking at anything significant, but could have a few showers around here once we get into Wednesday. And then Thursday looks good. That front kind of washes out. Friday looks good. We've got the canoe trip on Saturday. And as of right now, Saturday looks okay the first half of the day. We'll have to keep an eye on a cold front, though, because that cold front this weekend is going to be flipping from north to south. Pretty good consensus in the modeling. And this has a little punch to it, so we'll likely get some storms out of this that roll through. Right now, my timing is Saturday afternoon, Saturday night especially, okay? That would roll through on Sunday. The Euro's latest development is it develops kind of this cutoff low on the backside. So that would keep some rain on the backside of the system spiraling around for Sunday and Monday. All right. And that would be good news. We could use all we can get. That front heads south, and then we have not much really doing until the latter half of next week into the following weekend. And unfortunately, the way this pattern is going right now, if we get that front through Saturday into Sunday this weekend, it looks like we may do it again the following weekend. So dry weeks and some wet weekends is kind of what we're looking at right now. In terms of temperatures, though, we're not done with summer yet. It's going to be really tough to get any 90s in here from now on, which I think most people are okay with. But we are going to get back to the 80s, and it comes with low humidity. Amazing humidity levels. Tom said earlier, days like today is why September is my favorite weather month. I mean, you're looking at it. Look at the numbers. We've got 70s climbing up near 80, but it comes with low humidity. That's the thing. And we can tell how humid it is based on these numbers at night, all right? So low temperatures at night, if they're nice and cool, 40s, 50s, even 60, you've got lower dew points. You've got comfortable air. If you have overnight lows in the upper 60s and 70s, that's when you get the real muggy stuff. And we just don't have any of that coming, and it becomes harder and harder for that to happen as Canadian air and cool air continues to kind of filter into the country. So that's what we've got weather-wise. Again, nice warm-up as we go into the weekend. That front that goes by will knock our temperatures back down to even more comfortable levels next week, and then we climb back up. Another front comes by. So no big cool spells, no major heat waves or anything like that, just a picture-perfect forecast as we go throughout the week. The other thing I want to bring up before we open it up to your questions, so go ahead, if you guys have any questions, throw them into the chat. I'd be happy to answer them. Again, guys, take advantage. You have a meteorologist who's sitting here who has time away from his children as they're taking a bath, getting ready for school. Please use my time, all right? I don't want to get back to that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. But I would be happy to sit here and answer your questions for you as long as you like. But anything you've got, be happy to answer. But anyway, the one thing I want to bring up is our fall colors. Has anyone, and throw this in the chat too if you have, has anyone noticed some of the tint starting to show up on some of the trees from these cool nights? We've noticed it here just in our own yard. We've got a tree turning yellow. We've got some tinted kind of leaves. And it is a little bit early this year. And the reason why it's early is because we've had this cool spell. Trees usually react on the loss of daylight, right? We've got shorter days, it's darker and longer. That's usually what kicks off that chlorophyll production, which makes the colors. However, they also react to cool nights and warm sunny days. And we're seeing just a ton of that over really the last 2-3 weeks or so. And so as a result, we're starting to get these fall colors going a little early. My forecast for fall colors this year, that rain that we had locally over, was a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that rain's going to help us have more vibrant colors around here, because what trees don't like is to go dry in August and September. The leaves, they just give up. They're like, I'm done. And they just throw off their leaves without changing color, or they turn brown and crunchy and kind of shrivel up. That's not the case this year, thank goodness, because we had all that rain. Other portions of northwest Indiana, and especially as you get into central and eastern Indiana and southern Indiana, they might not fare as well because it has been very dry. They didn't get all that heavy rain that we got here locally. And so all those drought areas are probably not going to have the best fall color this year. But we'll see. We'll see where we go from here. But in terms of my forecast for that, I think we're still going to have great color here in northwest Indiana, thanks to that rain we had a little bit ago. Okay. All right, let's see. Pearl says, good evening, Matt. I'm looking for God's rain. Yes. The rain coming from the sky, Pearl, is so much better. We've talked about this week's past, so much better than hose water. It really is. There's so much more to it. Hi, Angel. Drag us with us as well. Julie says, good evening, Matt. Thank you for all your updates on the weather every Sunday and on Z1071. You're a 1071 listener. Awesome. My wife is doing great. So, Julie, that's so sweet of you to ask. Julie knows, and a lot of you know, my wife is super pregnant right now. I mean, you're either pregnant or you're not, but she's ready to go any day. She really is. She's due the 26th. This is going to be kid number 5 for us. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. We're leaning boy. And again, we have a girl and then boy, 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 and it's probably going to be a boy. That's just how it works. I know it's 50-50. It's not. All right. I'm telling you, it's not going to be. But either way, we're going to be happy. You know, God's blessing for sure. But she's doing great. She is. She says that everything's changed though over the last Thursday or Friday, baby dropped, and she's just feeling some changes. She's getting ready. So any day now, and I'm sad. You guys are going to be with me equally as much. But on the TV side of things, I go on paternity leave, and that puts me out of TV for 6 weeks. We get 6 with our company, which is really great, and it's not a vacation at all. I don't think anyone thinks it's a vacation. Because there's a lot to do in this household with all these different schedules. But I'm sad because I truly enjoy doing weather every single day. I love it. I love my job every single day. I love doing this with you guys. And so taking that out of there, it's going to be tough for me to say, hey, your job right now is to be a dad to this family, which it is all the time, but especially during that time. But you're still going to have me on here. You might even have me some more, so I'm sorry. But either way, thanks for asking. I do appreciate that. Ruth, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Pearl says cherry tree in the front is losing leaves already. Yeah, and Brenda noticed that already as well. So there's that. Yeah, we're getting there. All right, Jill says, I keep hearing winter predictions, tons of snow below temperatures since we had a hot summer weeks. So, Jill, it's not so much the hot summer. It's more the pattern we have setting up. And we were looking at a La Nada developing, which is not an El Nino, not a La Nina. But now there's some signs that La Nina is starting to develop, just a weak one as of right now. And if we get into La Nina territory, that tends to back off the snow a little bit. It brings a lot of moisture to our region, but it brings some of that mild air mixed with the cooler air. So we'll see if that happens, but all indication was, and looking back at history and kind of looking at what we've got going on this year, not just with El Nino, La Nina situation, but with the stratosphere up in the northern hemisphere and just kind of what we're expecting in general, signs have pointed towards, and I haven't said this in the last 4 years, signs are pointing towards a very snowy, cold winter. Basically, nature's payback for the last, 4 or 5 winters we haven't had much at all. Signs were pointing towards that, and I'm kind of leaning in that direction. We'll have to see what develops with La Nina. Again, it's not a guarantee, the weather that brings. If we have one thing, it doesn't mean that our whole winter is one way, right? But there are a lot of signs and a lot of but if we go back in time, we can look at kind of setups and what that brings. And a lot of the things that we were looking at kind of showed that we're going to have a bad winter. So I'm kind of leaning that way, Jill. Just looking at, some of the weather patterns and stuff that we could be getting into, I think we're due for a bad winter around here. So get excited or not. It depends on how you feel about that. Angie says, I'm glad we still have some 80-degree days without the high dew points. Right. I mean, that's just so brutal about summer sometimes. And I know some people like it, but that high humidity is what ruins everything in my mind. In this time of year, we have a breeze. It's just, there's no better time of the year weather-wise in Northwest Indiana than, to Tom's point earlier, September around here. Gail's excited for snow. Gail, I've got to close that comment off now. Rich, we did. We had a good time at Cedar Point. Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, Rich. Yeah, my sister is officially a pastor right now. And then, yeah, my daughter and I went to Cedar Point. What was that? That was 2 weeks ago now or 1 week ago? I don't know. Time's going fast. But we had a good time. It was nice to spend time with just my daughter, with the multiple kids, and a lot of you that had a lot of kids or grew up in a family with a lot of kids. It's so hard to get one-on-one time with any of them, and they need that, right? And you want to do that with them, but it's really tough with a big family and the crazy schedule. So yeah, it was great for sure. Pearl, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Maxwell, we talked about this on the morning show last week. I was teaching the folks while they were having cereal in breakfast about petrichor, which is the chemical released by the soil, which is that smell after a storm. When it first rains, after it hasn't rained for a while, there's chemical buildup on plants and on the soil, and that rain triggers it, and it releases, and there is a smell, and that smell is called petrichor. And I had a viewer that wrote in and said that they make petrichor candles. I don't know. Now, you have to read the reviews, but there are petrichor scented candles out there. So, Maxwell, I don't know. You like that smell when it rains. I do too. And they have candles now. You got to read the reviews, though, because some people say this doesn't smell like petrichor at all. And then there are a couple of good ones out there that say this is great. Maybe it's not petrichor, but it's great. So, absolutely. Yeah, Brenda, I might. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's see. Yeah, for sure. Vicky, I miss the early sunrise, late evening. That's the only thing. There's lots of daylight in September. It becomes very noticeable, right? This is the month, and I say it every year, September's the month where you notice that daylight change. August, it's happening. July, it's happening too, but at a slower clip. And now it's like, oh man, that sun is setting earlier, and oh, that sunrise is later. It's dark on my morning commute, all that good stuff. So for sure. All right, guys, I've wasted enough of your time. I appreciate you joining me here on this Sunday night. And if you missed the schedule change, we're just doing Sunday nights for now. My son actually has his flag football games on Wednesday night. So, it's either Sun's football games or Region Weather Live. But what we are going to do, we may end up doing 2 or 3 Region Weather Lives a week once we get active weather around here. If there's a big storm system coming, if there's severe weather, we've done that anyway, but just know that we will be on, and we'll do some live broadcasts kind of leading up to the event. But for now, when you've got weather like this, folks, you don't need me, all right? But please continue to click on stuff, all right? I'm just kidding. You don't have to. We do appreciate you, though. All right, you guys have a wonderful week. We'll be with you this week. Enjoy the weather. Take time to do that. We'll keep you updated on this weather pattern as we continue to go through the month of September. All right, take it easy, everybody.